Right, welcome to this complete army overview for Tyranids, and it's the most common army overview I've had on the channel so far. I think this is the third one that I've done. Tyranids is a race that has, to be honest, has struggled. They have really struggled on the channel. They've had some great victories, but half the time they've lost, or worse perhaps, and they've been slaughtered in a number of games. Grey Knights have obliterated them, and they've struggled. It can be an army that just gets overwhelmed, shot to bits, no invuln saves for the race, for the army here, and just a real struggle. So I've revamped the force. A fair amount of it has remained. There's some units I've kept that I really liked, but there are some brand new units that I have included. I've been painting and I've managed to get these units finished. This army is done. It's 1850 points. So I'll run through, or build up the army step by step, run through in order, and you'll get a picture of how the army looks. Then we'll stand back and take a look at it, and then talk about overall army tactica and battle plan, and then we'll talk about how well potentially it can do. It's already actually fought in a number of games, and those battle reports are on both channels. There's some on the new channel, Striking Scorpion 82 Plus, which is a paid channel. You can you pay a fixed amount per month, or it's cheaper if you just buy for a whole year, and then you get access to every video that's on that channel. There's exclusive battle reports on there, some very nice ones that have just been uploaded actually. Exclusive in-depth painting tutorials as well for different factions, advanced Tactica, and there is a new series coming out, if not some videos already up, for Tyranids. So what you see here are going to a lot more depth on the new channel as well, plus some whole load of new projects and ideas on the way on there. A lot of videos on that channel already, so check that out. It's a 14-day free trial as well, if you can try it out for free. This means that I'm able to make videos like this. It helps me be able to take the time to make the videos, do the editing and so on, which does take up so much time. It's just your way of, I thought about doing a donation type thing, but I thought by doing another channel, you know, your money, you get something out of it. You actually get rewarded by getting a load of videos in reward for that. So I think that's worked out quite well. A load of subscribers, and people are enjoying the content there. So check that out, Striker Scorpion 82 Plus. The link's on the top right hand side of my channel, so you can go there. There's also an icon as well in my recommended channels section as well, Striker Scorpion 82 Plus. But what we'll do here is run through this codex and show you what units I've gone for. So the first thing is, when you have an army that consistently not performing very well, and you only find that out after you've played a number of games, which I've done here with the Tyranids, you look back and you say, right, what units have performed the worst? You just do it in order. What units are doing really well, and in which case you leave them, let them carry on, and then what units just haven't performed as good. And then what that does is you drop those units, and that creates some points for you to play with. You know, you can clean the slate and just get rid of the whole force, start again, change the army completely, but I usually like to just revamp and build on the army. And all of the armies that I have, that's how I work. And as you learn, then your army gradually gets better, hopefully. So for the previous list, I had 3 venom throats. I can tell you I've dropped one of them and using them slightly differently. So that's 45 points saved straight away. I also dropped the Spawn of Cryptus formation, the Gene Stealers and the Brood Lord. I just dropped that. Wasn't particularly effective, just really struggled with it. It's a foot-based unit. It moved around, and then it just, as it travelled across the table, got shot up and died. So consistently didn't do too well. So dropped that one. That saved a fair few points as well. Then I had a brood of 2 Carnifexes. Again, it was a unit that just wandered around the table, slow. If they were slow, I'd hide them if I think I couldn't cross an area, and then they just hide and do anything, and then they just get ambushed and die. Or if I did move them out, they'd be targeted and just shot to bits. So I dropped 2 Carnifexes. That's freed up a lot of points that I've then been able to change the army around a bit and get a couple of new units into the force. So the new list, as I said, you'll recognise some, or most of the units. what you to bear in mind right from the start is with this Tyranid army I wanted to have monstrous creatures as much as possible, and then I also wanted to have a very strong defense force and then a very strong attacking force. So every unit that you're going to see is going to fit quite clearly into either of those two slots. So HQ first of all, and the one that I'm going to start with actually is the turbo gun. That is back, love the model, and she's in, so she's just there. Just love the size of it and the sculpting to it, and just the whole thing looks really nice. So it's a Psyker, so it's going to add to my psychic pool of dice, which I think I want to feature quite heavily in this Tyranid force. I think the psychic powers for Tyranids are pretty good, and the more Psykers, the more dice you get, the more likely you're going to get these powers to go off. You can take powers from any of the powers of the Hive Mind, so you can roll up some pretty good powers for the Turbogon there. It's just a strong, tough unit, and her role is to sit on objectives, so defensive part of the force. So to say a classic game, your opponent has an objective, you have an objective, she sits on your objective, and her goal is just to sit on the objective and just to defend it, and then to breed these units of gaunts. So no other upgrades, because half the time she'll die, expecting her to. So I then take, I'm doing this a little bit out of sync here, but you'll see why in a minute. I then take 30 gaunts. I do that because it looks really cool, just to have a massive, just a ton of these things. And just 30 of them is just such an overwhelming number. I mean, like in Ben's Grey Knight army, you wouldn't even have 30 models. So to take these, you just suddenly outnumber them just with one unit. So take 30 of them. They're designed to hang around with her. And the reason I take 30, just flipping over here, is Termagant Brood. If you take 30 models, then your Turbogon becomes a troops choice. So that means that she gets objective secured. So now when she's on the objective, she'll get objective secured, she'll trump another unit that's not troops, she'll still count as holding it. And the great thing is it then frees up the 2 HQ slots again. She's not occupying one of the HQs, I still have 2 slots to use up. So she's there designed to sit around with these, protect them, and then to breed more units of gaunts, more objective secured troops choices. That's my 2 troops, done there. And it's quite a chunk of the force there, built up quite quick. So then going on to HQ, and I've gone for the Hive Tyrant, the original one. He's back in. Just here, you'll recognise him, put him up on a stand there. Just had to include him again, just for the visual impact, the intimidating impact that he has. Now, it did alright in games. I really lamented the fact it didn't have a shooting ability. I really struggled with that. Now I went to break the arms off and to do some magnetising, but then stopped because you can give it a shooting attack, I have here, and I haven't modified the actual model. I'll show that to you what you can do. I think it's going to be quite effective. It's a cheap shooting attack. So Hive Tyrant here, 165 points, and to give it wings is 35 points. Definitely want to give it wings. Just the ability to move quickly around the table, to fly on from reserve, to raking strike over the top of stuff, and then to get where it needs to be quickly, to use its psychic powers, of which some of them are close range, and then also to be able to shoot at close range as well. So wings definitely for the winged Hive Tyrant. And then it says here that you can take, this is the other upgrade I've given it here, the new upgrade is 4x Biomorphs, and you can give it, I run through all of these in the advanced Tactica for the Hive Tyrants, but you can give it Electroshock Grubs. It's template strength 5 AP 5, so that's cool. Template's going to ignore cover, and the other thing about it is it's haywire. So he flies over and lands next to a couple of vehicles. He can use his his template weapon across a couple of vehicles, or even just one, and you can auto hit, no cover saves allowed, and then haywire. And you're going to, on a 2+, you're going to cause a glancing hit, or on a 6 you're going to get a penetrating hit. So it just gave a quick solution to a lack of shooting ability. I think it's a great shooting weapon to have. So I've gone for that on him. So obviously he's wanting to get in close to fly over stuff, so you want to get a raking strike and then fire your tempo weapon and then use psychic powers. He's got that harassing ability and that speed, so that's part of the attacking force there. Then a brand new unit I've now included. I've taken the second Hive Tyrant with wings and a little bit of conversion, my own conversion work. I've given it the twin-linked devours with brain leech worms. Right, so I've just zoomed in there for you so you can see. So I took the arm from a Carnifex, and then I cut one off from a spare arm, and then just trimmed off level along both of them so that they were flatter, and then just glued them, and that's joined them up quite nice. And then a spare bit of piping I just stuck at the back to link it in. Once it's painted, I think that looks pretty good. So these aren't bought from Forge, they're my own sort of creation there. I think they're kind of really nice. I think just that weapon configuration looks really cool, and then the pose on this thing I think looks really nice. There's a full painting tutorial on the channel here for Tyranids, so check that out under the painting tutorial section. If you like this colour scheme, then check out that full paint tutorial. Show you from start to finish how to paint. It's actually a Hive Chrome, but you can apply the technique to all the Tyranids. And of course you can change the colours around it. You don't have to do red, and this jitting colour you can change it, and the same technique will apply to whatever colour scheme you decide to go for. So that's him. He is 165 points, 200 points with wings. Yeah, and just checking it here. Twin Link Devourers of Brain Leech Worms is 30 points, 15 points a set. You can take 2 sets. You can replace both sets of Hive Tyrants, and the wings come as extras on top, so you can take 2 sets there. That's 30 points. So 230 points for him is quite a lot. But he can fly over stuff quickly and then just let loose with 12 twin linked, ballistic skill, 4 strength, 6 shots. I've seen it, I've had it done to me. Will Warwick used it. Very effective indeed. So when I played Will a few times, I thought, yeah, I've got to get one of them. That's quite effective. It was very effective for Tyranids. So there he is. And I like the pose, it's come out quite well. Just raised him on the base a little bit as well, just to make him look more like a flyer. So he's in. It just given me 2 of them things now to terrorise the opponent with. So I'm glad to see him there. So moving on, we've done troops actually. There's no more. So elites, I said just scaled down the Manfrottos, which is what I've done. And instead of taking a brood of 3, and instead of taking a brood of 2, I've playing it more now by splitting them. I do have the slots to do it. So I take 2 and they're separate, and it just means that I can place them. These are to protect the defensive force. And I really go into this, there is an advanced Tactica on Manfrottos on the new channel, and I really talk about combinations that you can do and how to use terrain and so on that. But I use them defensively to protect the defensive force, to grant shrouded, using that shrouded capability. Everything within 6, or models within 6, will get shrouded. Even flyers will get that as they fly overhead. So I think they're invaluable. They're only 45 points a time. So I've done 2, and they're just to be dotted in the defensive force, just to protect the army, because I'm expecting it to be bombarded and to be attacked and shot at. So when they hunker down, they'll be a bit better protected. So 2 of them, and that is it for elites, for the Tyranids. Then for fast attack, the Raveners are back. And perhaps controversial, people have said, oh, Raveners are a waste of time. But I take 6 and I give them Rending Claws for definite. It's 210 points, is a fair bit. But if you check out some of the new battle reports, I think, without giving too much away, their place is justified, continues to be justified. They've done some heroics in some games, and they are continuing to do it, that's all I can say. So they're in. Rending Claws, ton of attacks, 5 attacks each on the charge, initiative 5, weapon skill 5. I think they're pretty good. So those are in, nice and fast as well as beasts. Then, for fast attack, I have taken the Hive Chrome. So the Hive Chrome, just put him in there. The force is really bulking out here. You'll see the. We'll stand back and take a look at the whole thing soon. But Hive Chrome is in. No upgrades at all, because I think it's going to get shot at and shot down, and does happen in games, so I don't want to load it out too much. 155 points. It's quite durable, and I've gone for just the dual cannon, the tentaclids, just to harass enemy flyers, just trying to answer that problem of anti-flyer capability. It's partly solved and helped now with the Hive Tyrant with the twin link devour spray and leech worms, good anti-aircraft, but also the Hive Chrome helping out with tentaclids. And the raking strike as well. It can harass air and ground targets. It's just kind of a harassing kind of unit to have. So the Hive Chrome is in. Then for heavy support, I told you we dropped the Carnifex. It's just too slow. So I'm going to show you 2 that you'll remember from previous listing games. The Morlock is still in, and no upgrades, so it's only 140 points, which I think for a monstrous creature and what it is capable of doing, I think it's very good points cost. It's 140 points, and just that ability that for it to possibly come up and destroy a unit in one go. And it's done it before. Sometimes it doesn't, it just fails, scatters, and then dies, gets blown up. And other times it's bang on target and it causes trouble. So the Morlock's in. I think I'll always have a Morlock in the force. It's just a fun aspect to having Tyranids at Terror from the Deep. It's just great fun. Then the Trigon is in as well. There she is, absolutely adorable model, very nice looking model indeed. It's a nice height to it and terrifying look. It's 190 points against a fair old chunk there. Weapon skill 5 though, which is good. Strength and toughness 5, 6 wounds, which is very good. Initiative 4, 5 attacks, which is a nice base number to have. 3+ save. It does get the 2 side tension on 6 attacks, 7 attacks on the charge. So against things like Space Marines, have an absolute field day. So it's very good. It is a unit I struggle with. That it deep strikes and then it gets shot up. Other times I'll maybe keep it with the defensive force at the back, and it ends up not doing much and getting shot at. So it is, to be honest, it's one that I struggle with in the force, but other times it has done very well. So there are a number of units in this Tyranid force that they may be dropped out. I still think this force is still going to change and adapt as time goes on, really is, and it'd be fascinating to see what happens if and when a new codex comes out, but that may not be for quite a while. So 1 heavy support slot left open and points spare from the Carnifexes that were dropped, and I've gone for, and it's been recommended by subscribers, but also I sort of discovered it for myself as well, just through reading through. The quest was to find, after fighting Grey Knights a number of times, the quest was to find a weapon, a shooting weapon that was AP2. And the Exocrine's bioplasmic cannon answered that very well. So there she is, just painted up. Took me about 2 hours to paint with the colour schemes, nice and quick. But looks pretty good. It's a heavy artillery, the size of that gun. Nice and impressive. So the Exocrine is in. It's 170 points, and again, no upgrades. I really have dropped all regenerate from the force. Instead I've gone for protecting them with venom probes instead of regenerate. I think it's sort of the idea I've gone for. So the Exocrine is in. Not so much for his monster attack sort of capabilities, but purely for the bioplasmic cannon. This definitely joins the defensive force. It just means that instead of having no or virtually no firepower capability, I've got something there that could sit on near the objective with the defensive force, and it can it can hit back, it can shoot something back. That's pretty impressive. We'll look it up here. The bioplasmic cannon, I think, is one of the best shooting weapons that Tyranids have. It's range 24, strength 7, AP2, large blast, brilliant weapon. Unit of Terminators, deep strikes, boom, you can pivot on the spot. If you stay still, then you will go up to ballistic skill 4, which is excellent. So strength 7 AP2 is excellent, large blast is superb. But the other great thing about it is it can fire streams, which is assault 6, strength 7 AP2. So if your unit's spread out and your blast weapon's not going to be as effective, you can fire that way. Or if you're firing just another monstrous creature that turns up, or a dread knight for example, where you can just let rip and fire 6 shots at it at strength 7 AP2. And believe me, I've used it, it can cause horrendous damage. So I'm really happy with that. Even tempted to get a second one. That impressed. And it could do it, it could drop the Trigon, swap it out for another one of them. But we'll have to see as it develops as games go on. But that is actually the last entry there. So that's the force, it's moved on, it's developed, it's evolved into something else. It's just adapting as it faces different opponents. Yeah, a little bit soft in as much as I've said, it's lacking invulns. The idea is just to hit out with so many attacks first before you get hit back hard. So the ones with higher initiative are the ones that are going to do the assaulting, and the slower monsters are the ones that are going to try and defend, sit back and blast at opponents. So that's the army. There's one other unit to add to this, so you can see it laid out there. One other unit to add. I had a spare about 140 points. I did have a Trigon Prime, then dropped it down to regular Trigon. That freed up 40 points. I had a spare 100. So what I've gone for, and the reason why I left this out is because it's flexible. I'm still open as to what I should use here. But at the moment what I'm running is 4 Tyranid warriors. So I'm just adding them in here because they are part of the force at the moment. But that may well change. This is really the unit that can drop in and out and swap it out for something. I've been racking my brains as to think what other units I can use. But I've taken warriors and I've given them rending claws, just a cheap upgrade, making them a bit better. Plenty of attacks. They'll join the defensive force as well, as a unit that can counterattack something. You get deep striked by something, these guys can charge in. They've got a 4+ save, they've got rending, 5 attacks on the charge, pretty good. That bumps up the army, that makes it up to 1850 points. But as I said, they can drop in and out. Another reason why I took them is Synapse. If she dies, Synapse is gone, it causes a lot of trouble. You've got a second Synapse option there, and that helps, keeps everything in order. And that has helped out in games that I've used them in already. But I'm open here on this one. In the comments section, leave your thoughts about these, and if there's something else for around about 140 points, that's a good combination. Or drop something and then have extra points and then buy something bigger, or drop these entirely and then spend it on upgrades perhaps. But so it's a fluid army here at the moment. There is open to some change. So that's your defensive force there. Just sit on objectives, counterattack if they're attacked, and shoot, and then just to survive with the help of the Venom Probes, providing some decent shrouding and cover saves. I have recently been, and I go into the advanced Tactica videos on the new channel, using Raveners, attaching them with the defensive part of the force and using them as a counterattack. So your opponent comes in, he deep strikes and so on, and then actually countering attacking with them. There's advantages to doing it. You keep them within your Synapse range, and also you're keeping them out of trouble at the back, so they don't get shot up straight away, not advancing out across the table straight away and then dying, but instead they're being held back and then unleashed later on. So I've been doing that with them. Trigon has the option of sitting in with the defensive force if it wants to, starting on the table, or deep striking anywhere on the table and then moving off doing its own thing. And then dedicated assault force is the flyers, without doubt. Always assault with them. So they are aggressive. to be used aggressively, to fly up and to get close and to do raking, striking, psychic powers, and shooting attacks now as well. Primarily those two, being supported by the Hive Chrome as well, and then the Morlock chipping in with its subterranean assault on top of that. So quite optimistic about this force. I have to say I've used it already in a couple of games and filmed them, so you'll get to see them. They're either on, they'll come on this channel in challenge games, or there'll be some games on the new channel as well. And I'm not going to give away as to how well they've done, but I'm hoping they're going to do well. I think it's a better list than the others previously, but that's down to you to see what you think of the force. Leave it in the comments section. How would you alter this one? What would you drop out? What would you add in? How well do you think this list will do if you compare it to other armies on previous Tyranid lists on the channel? So leave your comments, they'll be read by plenty of people, I'm sure, and you can help out others with your own Tactica and tips and how to use Tyranids. Check out the full painting tutorial on the channel here. I'll show you how to paint that Hive Chrome just over there from start to finish, and you can apply the technique to all of the Tyranid units. Then on the channel here, you can check out all the previous battle reports of Tyranids. Some great games stretching way back to the start of the channel. Had some excellent games. You'll see some of the defeats as well for the Tyranids, and then from there you'll sort of see what works and what doesn't. But Tyranids is a good army to collect, good fun. Nice. You can do a nice straightforward colour scheme for them. You can put together an army pretty quick, and it looks quite impressive. All those nasty, monstrous creatures. But I hope they'll do well in games. That's the complete army overview and Tactica for Tyranids, 1850 points. So thanks for watching, and tune in next time.